Something significant is happening in American politics right now, and we need to talk about it. Republicans are turning against each other. Trump allies are jumping ship, and it's actually becoming a pattern. This is a moment you need to understand. Ever since the tragic events in Minneapolis, Republican politicians across the country have been coming out to distance themselves from this administration. And they're not being subtle about it. They're being direct, forceful, public. Let's start with what happened at the state level. A Republican candidate for governor in Minnesota just made an extraordinary decision. He dropped out of the race entirely. His name is Chris Matt, and his reasoning is telling us something important about what's happening in the Republican Party right now. He said the Trump administration's approach in Minnesota looks like a violent retribution campaign. He said it's tragic for the nation, tragic for his constituents, and most importantly, he realized that no amount of political maneuvering could help him win a statewide election while staying aligned with the GOP under these circumstances. Think about what that means: a Republican giving up because he couldn't defend the administration. But the cracks are spreading way beyond Minnesota. Texas Governor Greg Abbott released a statement saying ICE needs to recalibrate its approach. That's significant coming from someone in Trump's own party. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is now calling for the heads of ICE, CBP, and USCIS to testify before Congress. He wants accountability. Indiana Senator Todd Young is demanding a full, transparent investigation. Utah Congressman John Curtis made an important point. He said officials who rushed to judgment before the facts are known actually undermined public trust in law enforcement. That's a direct criticism of how the administration handled this.
And then there's Ted Cruz. Now, Ted Cruz is famous for not saying much of anything controversial. He's typically very calculated about his positions. But even Ted Cruz came out and said the administration could do better, that they shouldn't come out with conclusions before they have the facts. He specifically said they shouldn't come out guns blazing, labeling someone a terrorist without evidence. When Ted Cruz becomes the voice of moderation in your party, something significant has shifted. But here's where it gets even more interesting. One of Trump's most loyal supporters came on air and essentially challenged the entire official narrative. He pointed out that we have no evidence this person was threatening anyone. The videos show someone holding a camera, recording, filming the operation. He asked directly, how was he threatening law enforcement? What was the actual threat? And the person being questioned couldn't answer, because there is no answer. Now let's talk about something that's been bothering a lot of people. There's a serious issue with consistency here, and it's worth examining. A few years ago, there were armed individuals on the streets of American cities. They were carrying AR-15s. They were intimidating. They were angry. They were visible. Where was the outrage then? Where were the calls for accountability? Where were the accusations of domestic terrorism? Those calls didn't come. The administration was silent. But here's the contrast that matters. Kyle Rittenhouse shows up to a protest with a firearm, and what happens? Violence occurs. People are hurt. The administration celebrates him. He becomes a symbol. He gets invited to Mar-a-Lago as a guest of honor. Meanwhile, Alex Prey is legally carrying. He has a permit. He's not brandishing anything. He's filming, recording what's happening. And the administration immediately labels him a domestic terrorist, a would-be assassin. The inconsistency is striking, and Republicans are noticing it.
So when the cracks started showing, what did the White House do? They went into damage control mode, and their response tells us something about how they operate. Christine Noem said agents fired defensive shots. That contradicts what the videos show. Greg Bovino claimed the individual was trying to massacre law enforcement. That's not supported by any evidence. Stephen Miller called him a domestic terrorist, a would-be assassin. Neither of those characterizations hold up to scrutiny. So when journalists pressed the White House on why they made these claims before an investigation was even conducted, what was the response? The spokesperson said the situation is fluid and fast-moving. That's the explanation. That's what they offered. The situation was moving too fast, so we made statements without facts. We labeled someone a terrorist without evidence. But that's not a real explanation. That's what we call gaslighting. It's saying, yes, we said these things, yes, they turned out to be false, but the situation was unclear at the time. That doesn't justify dishonesty, it just acknowledges it. And then something else happened that raised even more concerns. The White House spokesperson started talking about agitators making it difficult for ICE agents to do their jobs. She painted a picture. She said, imagine if you were a reporter working at the White House. Imagine if left-wing agitators were constantly harassing you, doxing you, threatening you. That would make it hard to do your job, right? So her implication was clear. ICE agents are having a hard time because Americans are upset about their actions. That's the narrative she was pushing.
But here's the reality that matters most. Video evidence exists. Documented footage. Clear, undeniable video. And what that video shows is exactly what happened, not what the administration claims happened, what actually happened. It shows law enforcement approaching someone who posed no apparent threat. It shows them disarming that person. And it shows them using lethal force. That's what the evidence shows. And when people point this out, when they say this doesn't match the official narrative, the response from the administration is to double down, never apologize, never back down, never admit fault. That's the entire playbook. This pattern has played out before, many times. Election results that don't match expectations? That's a rigged election. Claims without evidence. Statements made with absolute certainty despite contradictory facts. Controversial pardons? Claims of not knowing who the person is. Denying knowledge of something that's documented. Controversial statements about women? Those are dismissed as locker room talk. Old comments that don't matter. Context that was supposedly misunderstood. The point is, this administration operates by a different set of rules, where admitting a mistake is never an option, where changing course is seen as weakness. So, is it surprising that everyone surrounding this administration operates the same way? They justify, they deflect, they reframe, they gaslight. And when deflecting doesn't work, when people keep demanding answers, when the inconsistencies become too obvious, then the warnings start. The White House spokeswoman literally said that calling law enforcement names has consequences. She was warning Americans that if they criticize ICE using harsh language, bad things will happen. A law enforcement official warning citizens about the consequences of speaking out against law enforcement. That's a chilling message. That's the kind of thing you'd expect in an authoritarian system, not a democracy.
And that's when Republicans start pulling away. Because there's a line, even for people who've been loyal, even for people who've supported this administration through controversy after controversy. There's a point where it becomes indefensible. Shooting someone for lawfully exercising constitutional rights? That's approaching that line. Lying about why it happened? That crosses it. Warning Americans about consequences for speaking out? That's well past it. So Republicans are abandoning ship. Not all of them, but enough. Enough to signal that something has changed. A governor drops out of his race rather than defend this. Senators call for investigations. Conservatives criticize publicly. That's significant. That matters. The dam isn't just cracking, it's crumbling. And no amount of spinning the narrative can fix what's fundamentally broken. Because at the end of the day, the American people can see the truth with their own eyes. They can watch the videos. They can draw their own conclusions, and they're arriving at conclusions that this administration can't control. That's when the real pressure starts. That's when allies start leaving. And that's where we are right now. That's for today. If you like my documentary-style explaining videos, make sure you like and follow for more.